some of the blog posts that you see on the website, and just overall training content. Today we are going over Rental Beast because tomorrow we have a big launch. So if you currently have rental listings, or if you are planning on listing a rental, the process is going to be different. Historically, ARMLS has always used the Flex MLS system to add and edit those rental listings, which it's kind of going to be a move the cheese situation where it's now going to be done in Rental Beast. It's all very similar. Rental Beast also provides some really nice things that Flex MLS has just never been able to provide before. So we do have a very special guest, as you see. PJ comes directly from Rental Beast, so he's going to have all those answers that I might not have for you. If you do have any questions, though, please ask away. If PJ or I don't have the answer, we will find one for you. But with that, go ahead and take it away. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's small. If you got questions, right, ask it. It's interactive. I don't want this to just be me talking at you. So if you've got the questions, let me know. So like Natalie said, tomorrow, Rental Beast is going to be accessible for all ARMLS members, and you're going to be able to access it via the Flex menu drop down. You know, on the left side of your Flex, you have a menu. There's a bunch of products and resources in there. You're going to see a few different links related to Rental Beast. Now, so I don't think, nobody has a rental listing here active right now. Okay, so that would be the main change you would get tomorrow. So starting tomorrow, rental listings will be only added through Rental Beast and edited. So like, you know, just how on your for sale side, how you manage your listings in Flex MLS, that same piece is now going to be done in Rental Beast. Those listings are still going to get back to Flex MLS in the search. All right, so just bear with me for a second here. ARMLS is the MLS. Then you have Flex MLS, which is the software vendor that ARMLS is contracted with to essentially, you know, manage listings. Rental Beast is doing that on the rental side. Does that help people get that? Mm-hmm. So tomorrow, if you don't have any rental listings, your day's not going to change at all. If you've got rental listings tomorrow, then your day's going to change a little bit because you're now going to be adding or edited rental listings through Rental Beast. Do you have any rental listings? You came
No.
in? Okay, there we go. So that's the main change that's happening tomorrow. However, there's a bunch of other resources that you all now get access to, which is why I'm here. So a little bit about us, and I'm going to go through a slide deck, and then I'll actually give you a demo of the software as well. A little bit about Rental Beast. So we've been around for about almost 15 years now, and we are essentially the only software in the industry that's fully built for the rental listing. Like, that's how we started. Our CEO and founder was a rental agent, or currently still is a rental agent in New York City, did a ton of rentals, realized that, you know, the core platforms that the MLSs have just don't spend a lot of time on rentals, and that's okay, they don't have to, they do the for sale side very well. Out of that, Rental Beast was born. We partner with about 20-25 different MLSs across the country. We're the exclusive provider of rental-related services for NAR. Basically, this slide is supposed to say, we think we know what we're doing. So that's what you get out of this. In terms of tomorrow, this is the ecosystem that y'all are now going to get access to through your ARMLS membership. So first thing, again, we talked about this. If I'm adding or editing a rental listing now, I do it through Rental Beast. I don't think this matters for anybody here, but one of the main reasons that ARMLS wanted to work with Rental Beast and why we want to work together was our integrations with these things called property management softwares. Does anybody know anything about those at all? No? Have you heard of the term before? Property management software? So any of the property management divisions that you probably know are companies, they manage all of their listings in these things called PM softwares, property management softwares. And a lot of time, those listings actually never get to the MLS because they're managing their listings in their PM software. The MLS then becomes a bit of an afterthought because they have to get their listing in there. They've got to then work through, you know, both softwares. We solve that problem by directly connecting with the PM softwares. So the major benefit, and what I think all of you should be able to see over the next, it's going to take, it's not immediate, but over the next 6 to 12 months, is more active rental listings that are listed by ARMLS. which I think is a good thing. You're going to get more of the inventory. Why? Because the PMs can manage all their listings in their software and automatically connect that to Rental Beast, which then connects to the MLS. So this doesn't really necessarily pertain to anybody in here because you aren't not using PM softwares. The impact, though, should be more rental listings over time for you, which is, I think, a very good thing. You want to have more rental listings in the market. Now, what does impact you? You now have access to a very sophisticated rental search. You get access to not only the MLS listings, but you're going to get access to off MLS listings too. So what does that mean? Right now, I think, and you can't quote me on this, but AirMLS I think has around 6,000 active rental listings, 5,000, somewhere around there. Rental Beast has about 12,000 additional active rental listings that you're now going to get in one search spot. So when we came in, we talked about, you got your clients who may need to, if you're a buyer who can't buy a house, needs to find a rental, you now have access to 12,000 active more rental listings to help them find that listing.
That's great.
It's a big benefit.
Are we still limited to Maricopa County only?
No, it's pretty much all of Arizona.
Just Arizona then, not national?
No, you're not national.
Okay.
No, pretty much all of Arizona. Yeah, which is that's a lot of database. So yeah, and if you don't want to use the Rental Beast search, you don't have to. You can still use Flex MLS Rental Search. That's not going away. If you never want to use the Rental Beast search, you don't have to. But the benefit is you get access to these off MLS rental listings. If you do want to use the search, all the tools that you would expect that you would do currently if you're working with rental clients, or even for sale clients, you can do, like subscriptions, right? You want to put a client on a subscription so they get access to any new inventory. Same thing with Rental Beast. We call those inventory alerts. You can send out listings via email. You can run CMAs. So like, for instance, if you're trying to, I think it was your buddy who might be listing his rental. Like right now, if you try to go figure out what it's priced at, how are you going to do that? May go to the MLS. You also can go to Rental Beast, run the same search, and get access to all those off MLS listings too. So you're now going to get a lot more data for your comps. So this, I think, for folks in here is going to be important. Like, you just get access to more inventory. The last piece, tenant screening. So if you've ever done a rental, I'm sure you've known that you have to, usually there's a rental application, right? We have our own tenant screening tool that's free for all AirMLS members to use. So if you need to run an application or get those criminal background credit checks, you now have a system that allows you to do that. And we also have an enormous amount of resources and support. I'm here, you're gonna have a training, but there's ways you can chat with us, you can email with us, you can get our help center. It's not just we let the software launch it and then go away. We're very much going to be around to help you. So that's conceptually, or kind of a high level, what you're getting access to starting tomorrow. Are there immediate questions on what that looks like?
I guess a little bit more about the tenant screening.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what it's going to give us? Is it free? You said we have access to it. Is it
free for you? Yeah. So for any AirMLS member, it's totally free. If you send it to an applicant, they then pay $36 for the application.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's because there's a cost, related to us actually pulling the reports. So what if you are the agent who's representing them, or if it's your listing, what you would get access to is their credit background through TransUnion. That's our credit bureau. Of any eviction and tenant and landlord related court filings, which is typically evictions, or any sort of criminal background, plus searches in the National Sex Offender List. We do some searches through national databases. All of it's done through TransUnion, which is a big, I'm sure you've heard of TransUnion. So that's a little bit about it. The nice thing is it's free to you. You don't have to go find other software, pay just to get access to it. It's part of your ARMLS member benefit now, which is great.
Can you explain how that works? Does the agent pay for the application, or do you draw in the renter?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. So let me get to that part. We got questions, so let's do it. I have a slide on that. So this is a bit about like what you would get in terms of the process. The best, I mean, this is the best practice. The best practice is to always talk to the property contact first about what application software they use or if they have one. So why does that matter? Let's say I'm listing a property and, ma'am, I don't have your, what's your name?
Miriam.
Miriam? Perfect. So Miriam, you have a client who's interested in renting my property. I'm the listing agent. You don't want to run an application for your client before talking to me, because you don't know, I may have my own tenant software that I use. You may not know what I'm interested in finding for an application. So you always want to talk to the property contact. If the property contact does use Rental Beast, and because we are now the way that a listing gets added or edited, there's a section in there that says I want to use Rental Beast, apply now. If they do use it, you can send your tenant a link saying invite them to to apply to my property. They fill out the online application, and those reports then get sent to me. So you don't have to pay for anything. You have to initiate the application, or I, as the listing agent, can initiate the application. It just depends on the actual, how you're working with the actual person, the listing agent. I feel like that was a little confusing. Did that make sense?
However, if you, as a listing agent, refuse it
Yes.
or go with somebody else, it says we can reuse that report for 30 days?
Good question. So if I, as the property contact, like the listing agent, don't want to use Rental Beast application, don't use her application.
No, that's not the question. If you decide to go with somebody else, another tenant, can that applicant use that report for another property?
Yep. Unlimited number of times for 30 days.
So they own that report then? The applicant does?
I think that's right. That's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After 30 days, then they have to get charged again. But for 30 days, they can reuse it an unlimited number of times.
So hey, go look at the property. Here's my application. Here's what I've already pulled.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I, again, and I take my rental lease hat off here for a second, just more of like rental, like how should you do rentals? You always want to contact the property contact, right? Because they are the ones who's going to ultimately be the decision maker on if you can use that application or not. Obviously, I'm biased. I think our application product is really good, but it's still at the mercy of the actual property contact. So, for instance, property managers, when we work with them, like they're obviously a massive user base for us. They have their own softwares that do all applications. We have no interest in getting in the way of that.
So, if the property, or if the report will go to the property manager and the applicant?
Actually, both, yeah. Applicants get a copy of it.
Okay, so for future applications, we just say, or as a continuing representative for that tenant, we just say we have an application already, and a report, and would you like it? Is that basically what
you still have to reinitiate the application again if you want to use it a second time. And the reason we reinitiate it is we're gonna pull that fresh data again.
Okay.
So, but they don't have to pay, and they don't have to fill out all their information again.
Okay.
The only information you have to refill out is their sensitive information, which is their social and date of birth, because we don't store that.
Okay.
Is the $36 per household, like
applicant
or applicant?
Applicant above 18 years old.
Yeah, per adult.
So if there's two roommates or two partners, they both have to pay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we get a copy of that too, if we're representing them?
You don't usually.
No.
It's technically against FCRA regulations. So, and that's part of why MLSs are adopting our application tool. The reality is applications are there's a lot of liability there. Especially, I'm sure multiple people who have had their emails compromised. That's real estate agents are just major targets, and it stinks, but that's the reality. We're not even going to send you sensitive data in your email. You have to log into Rental Lease to actually get that data. And so we're purposefully going to limit who can actually see the data to remove liability from you. So, no. You're not going to access. if you're the property contact, right? If you're the one making the decision with the owner, then obviously you're going to get the information because you're the one helping make the decision for the tenant. So because we're on this, it's very simple if you have a rental listing, and even if you don't, to use Apply Now. I'll show you later, but you know how like if you're adding a listing within Flex, you go through a bunch of different categories to add a listing. It's no different within Rental Beast. One of our categories is about applications, and one of the fields is, do you want to use Apply Now by Rental Beast? If the answer is yes, then for those listings throughout our platform, there's a big Apply Now button, so that either an agent can initiate an applicant on behalf of their tenant, or a tenant can start an application on the listing themselves. So that's the easiest way. We even give the listing agent their own quick apply link, which is a sendable link that you can just text to somebody so that they can, and the way it's used is I send that link off to a tenant, they see a little bit about your property and can immediately start an application directly from that link. And by the way, our entire platform is mobile friendly. Most of our applications are done via iPhone. And then once you are finished, this is a little bit about the reports. We already talked about this, but credit report, and I think this is actually really interesting, the resident score. So just bear with me for a second. TransUnion, they built an application tenant screening tool for landlords. The resident score is their own proprietary credit score to help determine how likely is that renter to pay rent. It is slightly different than your credit score. I don't know if you know this, but if your credit score will differ between Equifax, I forget, Experian, TransUnion, they're all different, right? Because they all got their own proprietary data. This one's also slightly different. It's more real estate focused, so it's best in class. I think that's pretty cool. Are you going to notice a big difference? Probably not, but it is looking at different factors. Again, eviction report and some criminal background information if they've got it. So that's a little bit about Apply Now. Do I have more questions on this? No? Okay. So let me go back up for a second and go back to the beginning. So, accessing Rental Beast. Again, this is going to happen tomorrow. The one way you will not access Rental Beast, you do not go to rentalbeast.com. All right? You do not have a username and password. You will not get in that way. You have to go through your Flex dashboard, and I kind of mocked this up. I think it's still TBD exactly where those links are going to be, but you're going to see something that says Rental Beast Search, Rental Beast Apply Now, Rental Beast Add Edit, and that's how you're going to get brought directly into the Rental Beast platform itself. I'll go over the Add Edit because I think it's still important. So again, if you do have a rental listing, like if you end up listing your buddy's property, you would come through Rental Beast to actually add the rental listing. All the same functionality that you would expect with Flex MLS, you get with Rental Beast. You can add a listing, you can edit a listing, you can clone listings. And I think what is different about our Add Edit is it's a rental first edit. So has anybody listed a rental here before? Yeah. So I'm sure you've noticed that in Flex, they're geared towards for sale, right? Home sales. There's a lot of fields that you do not care about for a rental. We've stripped out the majority of those fields. So you only have about 100 fields that you can input. 12 are required for you to actually get a listing live on the rental side. We're trying to make it simpler. It's no different from what you're used to. You start going through the different categories. It's all rental specific. What's nice too is when you publish this listing, make it active, then within seconds it will be available within Flex MLS. So there's not a large delay. It's about 2 seconds for that listing to get over to Flex MLS. All of the tools and the benefit that you get as being an ARMLS subscriber will happen like normal. So if you want to use aligned showings, you can do that. If you want to use any of the syndication that you have with ARMLS, you can do that. That's not changing whatsoever with Rental Beast. All right.
What about documents that are needed?
We got a documents, can't really see it. That word says documents. So you actually have an area you can upload documents. That will also be transferred into Flex MLS. If you want to use transaction desk, is that the, I think transaction desk, yeah, you can use as normal. It's not going to change. Okay. PM software integrations. We got nobody here who does PM software. Do you guys want to hear about it or do you want me to skip it?
Can't do it.
Can't do it. So do you want me to skip
Not
it?
here, yeah.
Okay. High level. These PM softwares. That's where all these property managers do all of their listings. They're phenomenal softwares. They are, listing syndications, bookkeeping, accounting, rent payments, applications, tax stuff, like everything you would need. The problem is that becomes their main source of really data that they use in their main hub. The MLS becomes a bit of an afterthought. So for a lot of PMs, I'm not saying all, but a lot of them, it's always a challenge to get their listings back on the MLS. And unfortunately, that means less listings for all ARMLS subscribers. That's the main problem that we're trying to solve. When a user, and bear with me, syndicates their listing in their PM software, Rental Beast gets a copy of that listing. All the information that they inputted into their PM software will automatically be brought into Rental Beast, so pictures, description, amenities, all that sort of stuff. And we can match that listing with the PM user inside of ARMLS. So all of a sudden, you should be able to see more listings that are available for you and your clients. There's a lot here. We don't need to go through all this. What we do care about is the rental search. I think that's probably going to be the most used. So, you really can't see it, can you? Yeah. So, this is the main search screen, and I'll show you in a second, or probably 5 or 10 minutes when we get into a demo. We're bringing in all of the all of the ARMLS listings. So if there are 6,000 active long-term rentals for ARMLS, we're importing those as well. And then going forward, because we're the only ad edit, they'll always be there. You can search or filter for listings a variety of different ways. This tab says MLS. Can't see it, but it says MLS. If you only want to see listings that are represented by other ARMLS members, you click the MLS tab. You're only going to see those listings. If you want to get access to Rental Beast listings, so the off MLS rental listings, you click the Rental Beast tab. You get access to those. If you want to, you don't care, and you want to use both, you can have this says all, the all tab. So you get all the listings. You can filter by all this, usual ways you can: pets, parking, laundry, address, rent, bedrooms, bathrooms, a variety of different amenities. There's a map search, kind of all the different ways that you'd expect to search, you can do that.
You just mentioned long-term rentals, so you don't do short-term rentals at all?
We do not do short-term.
Nothing to do with Airbnb or Vrbo or any of those? Okay.
No. There is a plan. So this is phase 1 of the Rental Beast launch. There's going to be a phase 2, which does relate to vacation rentals. That's something that we are building out, but right now it's all long-term. So if you do use any sort of vacation rental, or if you list a vacation rental, you would continue to list those in Flex MLS as you currently do. I know it's a little bit confusing, but the reality is it's a pretty different property class. Yes, they're a rental, but how short-term works versus long-term is quite different.
What's short term?
So anything less than a month.
Okay.
That's, I think, Natalie, that's how I think that's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, if you're used to using the calendar in Flex MLS, that's what the short-term rentals are.
Okay, so I do want to note that there is a difference in the data that you're going to get a little bit depending on your profile with Rental Beast. So the main member benefit that you pay for as being an ARMLS member means you get an access to a preview of all of the Rental Beast listings. So a preview means you get the address, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the rent, square footage, date available, days on market, that sort of stuff. If you did want the full contact information for those off MLS rental listings, that would be part of our paid product. So we have a called Rental Beast Pro. So if you are looking for all of those off MLS rental listings and you want to actually get full contact information for those, then that'll be part of Rental Beast Pro.
How much is that?
That is $149 for 3 months, or $499 for the year.
And what is that for?
That is, so we have a paid product. It's like an upgraded version of Rental Beast if you want to do more if you do rentals regularly.
Oh.
And so what it gives you is a few things. It gives you full access to our rental off MLS database of listings. So you get full contact information. How do you benefit from that? If you're working with a tenant and you can't find a property you want on ARMLS, then you have more inventory. If you're looking to market your services, like you want to start listing rentals, because by the way, it's a very good way to get some repeatable income in. This can be your essentially marketing list for properties you can go out and try to market your services to. And there's also some leads that you would get, tenant leads with it as well. This class is not about Rental Beast Pro though, and we're not talking a lot about Rental Beast Pro. I do think it's important just to note that there is a difference in the listings you're going to see. Okay, I want to get into the database because I do think this is important. So one of the main things you probably have asked, like, how do you guys get 12,000 active rental listings that are not in the MLS? So we bring in 3 different types of listings. We bring in the MLS listings, which everybody has access to in full access. We bring in the PM software listings like I've talked about. But then we get this other group called Rental Beast Sourced Inventory. And the best way to explain this is we are essentially trying to swallow the internet. We are bringing in for rent by owner single family rentals, privately listed condos, apartment communities, apartment buildings. We've got little bots scurrying the internet looking for new listings. We've got literal people walking streets to find rental listings. We cover newspapers. Every single listing that we make active that is not an MLS listing, meaning so it's not an ARMLS listed listing, or a PM software listing, we have to physically talk with the property contact before that listing goes live. So why do we do that? Well, rentals, there's a ton of scams, right? We know that, it happens all the time. We force people to talk with us before that listing goes active because we give a much better likelihood of removing scams that way. And we also get all this information that you're only going to get if you talk with somebody. So, understanding the pet policy, the parking, laundry, showing information, compensation for a long time has been important. I know that's going away, but that sort of information you get with the rental lease listings. And we keep it updated. So every week or two, depending on where depending where the listing is, if we can't confirm with the property contact that it's still active, we actually just mark the property red. So you're getting a very up-to-date listing.
Question: apartment communities, every apartment community, or those who want to participate?
Those who want to participate, but it's a vast, vast, vast majority of them. I would say 85% of them. It's free to them. Like, there's no cost for them to put their listing on. So the reason we would not list a property is when they don't want to work with us, which again, vast majority of them do, or we can't get in contact with them. Right? Again, if we can't get in contact with them and we can't physically talk with somebody, we're not listing the property because we can't trust the data. So that's why sometimes we get a question, hey, I see these listings on Zillow, why don't you guys have them? Well, my guess is we probably contacted them, but we can't get in touch with them. Map search. This, I think, is the coolest thing to do, especially when you're looking at Rental Beast versus MLS data. Rental Beast has, again, it's about 12,000 active rental listings compared to about 6,000 on ARMLS. What we find is that there's pockets of off MLS listings that are totally available for agents to come in and start to help market. So this is a great way to visually see, on a map, where you could potentially go prospecting. I am a licensed agent, so I remember in my license class when the first thing they taught me was FSBOs, right? Go after FSBOs for sale by owners. This is the same thing, but for rentals. It's FRBOs, for rent by owners. Contact them, try to get their property list. If you see bad pictures, you can offer to take pictures for them, listed on the MLS. So it's a great way to just find more listings if you're interested in that. Unless it's not too complicated, but all of the things that you would expect to be able to do with a client in Flex MLS, you can do within Rental Beast. So if you do have a rental client and you want to use Rental Beast, you can add that client directly into your Rental Beast profile. You can then sign them up for subscriptions so that they'll get inventory alerts when new listings come on. You can send out listings to them. They can see listings. What's also neat though, and I think Flex has something like this, I forget exactly what it's called, but we call it our Client Activity Hub. It's real-time notifications as your clients are interacting with the emails you send them or any of the listings you send them. So like if you send out, let's say you put an inventory alert on for Scottsdale for 2-bedroom in $2,000 price range, and they start getting dripped emails of like when new properties are on the market. As they start to interact with those listings, you're going to get alerts saying what they're doing and off of what listing. So it's a nice way just to keep up to date of what your clients are doing. And this is exactly what I just said. So you can send listings instead of alerts. We call it our render destination. That's the activity hub, but they can interact with listings that were sent by clients. Lastly, because we're cruising through this, so pricing help. So this is a pretty big deal. If you're listing a property for rent, one of the big problems across the industry is siloed data. Like the listing prices that you're building off of CMAs that are in Flex MLS are only as good as the inventory that's actually there, right? If they don't have a lot of inventory in that area, you're not going to get a great price. So being able to bring in a lot more data is helpful when you're building out a CMA, because your listing is not only going to be competing with the MLS listings, it's competing with the entire, essentially all of the rentals out there. So having the more data, adding the off MLS rental listings into your CMAs if you're looking for pricing help is a great way to ensure that your pricing is probably a little bit more accurate. Leads and exposure. Okay, so we got 2 more things. We do have some leads. When your listing gets added into Rental Beast, it will then get added to their rlsaz.com, rental listing service arizona.com. That is something that we are doing in unison with ARMLS. We definitely have some eyeballs on this website, but it's not it's not a Zillow or one of those big providers. They pay a lot of money to get a lot of people to look at their listings. That's not something that we have done yet, but there is some added exposure. Now, if you did want to get more exposure, we talked about Rental Beast Pro. There are ways for your listing if you want to get access to Realtor.com or Zumper, RentPath, etc. That will be part of a Rental Beast Pro subscription for your listing. Okay, I know I just went through a lot. Do I got comments or questions anyway?
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
So MyHomeGroup has their own software. It's MyHG 2.0. So will that will Rental Beast pull up into that software now?
No. So how does Flex MLS pull up into that software?
Yes. Yeah, if we put like an MLS number, it'll pull up the information.
Okay, so I'd have to understand exactly what it is, but if the listing comes from Rental Beast, it goes into Flex MLS, so the listing should still be present there, yes.
So if they'll have an MLS number, even off market will all have an MLS number.
So no, off market will not. Off MLS, the Rental Beast listings,
Right.
they do not get an MLS ID number.
Okay, so then those probably won't come in map 2.0
No.
because we bring it in through the MLS number.
So then so any listing that's added through Rental Beast gets an MLS number because it goes directly to Flex MLS, and thus will then be available through your MyHomeGroup app. But there's no way from and I just don't know enough about it, but your MyHomeGroup app to access Rental Beast. You'd have to go through Flex MLS, the menu drop down,
Okay.
and then come into Rental Beast that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be confusing, but maybe it's not.
If you don't do rentals, your data doesn't change much.
Yeah, but that one off, like
Yeah.
I've got one coming up, and
So here's what you're going to do. Oh, I got a lot couple slides. Let's go back. Okay. When you have that one-off and you need to find more inventory, you can always search your rental listings via Flex MLS. That's not going away. That doesn't change. All of your listings that you would still search will still be there. You're now going to see a search that says rental lease search. When you have that, one-off, click the rental lease search. You're going to be brought into our search page, and then you can run searches there. So that's how you're going to access this tool. And what it actually looks like is this. Can you see that already? Yeah, okay, that's not bad. Okay, so this is the main dashboard of rental lease. So let's say, for instance, when you hit rental lease search, what's going to happen? You're going to get brought to our search page. And this is a live look at the listings. Yeah, wow, we got a lot of listings. So you've got about 5,400 ARMLS listings compared to about 15,000 rental lease listings. So now, let's do a search. So if we wanted to look for, let's say we're interested in, you got little help pop-ups that will pop up telling you how to work it. I want to look in Scottsdale. I want to find what are we interested in? Let's do a 2-bedroom, 2 or 3 bedroom. Let's just see what comes back. I'm not sure. Thank you. So you've got 604 MLS listings and 926 listings. So again, these 926 are going to be listings that they're not listed by ARMLS members.
So for the non-pay, non-pro, what's the difference? What am I getting? You're saying you're not going to be able to get contact information?
You're not going to get contact information. So from a search perspective, the main difference is a few things. Number one, you get to just see the other listings out there, so you get a better idea of what's out there. And again, I'm taking my rental beast hat off. If you take the address and pop it into Google, you can sometimes figure out what the contact information is. Not all of them, but some of them. So you're going to we're doing a lot of the homework for you to figure out what else is out there. Does that help kind of explain it? That's the big piece. Okay. In terms of what else can you do from a search perspective? So I run a search. Let's say I know that I'm going to be working with this search a bunch because I have a client that I know I'm going to be working with often. I want to save my search. So let's say Scottsdale 2 and 3 search. That's my new Scottsdale search. So what's nice about this, if I clear my search, and then let's say the person calls me back up and I want to get that search quickly, come back into my saved searches, I hit the execute button, and my listing information will automatically be pulled in, and I can just run a search automatically. So essentially like a saved search, right? The one that you're going to frequently use. If you want to attach that saved search to a client, I already have my saved search. I want to add an alert. That's what we call a subscription. We call it an alert because we're alerting somebody when they get a new listing that fits our criteria. Create, I want to confirm an alert, yes. So I can now go to my alerts page. And from here, I've got my alert that I've already set up. And I can just add any clients that I have in here. So I have a client that's named Brian. I want them to get an email, let's say instantly, so that I know that instantly when a listing comes in the market that is in Scottsdale, that's a 2 and 3 bedroom, they're going to be emailed with their information or with that information. So you don't necessarily have to sit there in rental beast and just sending out listings to them. Yes.
You said they can do CMAs on there.
Yes.
Is it free or is that part of Pro?
You can run a CMA all for the MLS listings. You can do that to your heart's content. For the rental beast listings, that is part of Pro. So how is that? Again, how is that helpful if you're not necessarily paying for it? A lot of times people won't necessarily pay for it and just eyeball listings. So if you get specific enough, like a Scottsdale 2 to 3 bedroom search is not that specific. But if I wanted to add some more filters in, like property amenities, maybe there's a pool, garage, parking, etc., I can eyeball it based off of the listings. So So you can sort by rent, right? And I can start to see where my listings would actually be. So there's a lot of value in being able to price a property even if you don't get pro, just because you can get specific enough off of what you're looking for.
Can you pull up my zip code possibly?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Say you're doing a search for Brian, does he get both if you're not in pro, or you just get the MLS?
You will always get the rental lease listings. Yes. So say that again.
So you're doing a search for Brian,
Yep.
Scott Scott,
Yep.
and you do set up alerts
Yep.
according to his email. And
Oh.
then you just MLO but not MLS but not pro.
Yeah, he will not get the off MLS listings, no.
Okay.
And we don't want him to, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was just like I said that.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
paying for it.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way a bunch of years ago to send that out. Not the good way to do
They're
it.
gonna not use you.
No.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah. So if you are pro, then those are automatically just added in.
Understood.
Yeah. So that's a little about the search. I think it's, if you're looking for data, access to more data, you want to get understanding of really what's out there on the market. It's a really good tool to be able to do that.
Can you do a search that omits the admin fees? So for example, if you do research on MLS, it's in the comments, plus admin fee of $200.
Yep.
So if I have a client who doesn't want to pay those admin fees or the extra stuff that they're going to add on,
Not really. Let's think about that. So that could be
I
in
didn't know if it was
the,
a filter.
we have listing criteria in the ad edit. I don't think you can do that piece, no.
So it'd probably be advantageous to look for those for sale by owner ones because they won't have the property management fees.
Yes. 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 At the end of the day, you're getting access, all of the work that you would have to do to find these for rent by owners that, we're doing for you. And that's the main value that ARMLS wanted to. They wanted to give all of you access to more data, which is now what you have access to as part of your membership.
Is there a separate separate support line for?
There is. So, yes, there's a few ways to get support. It's a very good question. First, easiest way, and the quickest way, frankly, is to chat with us. So right on the right side, you chat with us. The first two questions are from a bot just to help move you to the right spot. Then you're chatting with a real person. And our times are right now from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And soon we're going to be moving to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that's a great way to chat with us. The reality is, we're pretty quick to jump on a phone call. Like if you're like, hey, this just isn't working, can we call you? We can do that. The phone call is really only used when we really need help, but chatting is the best way to do it. We also have a lot of help resources, and so this is what gets used very heavily by folks. So on your left-hand side, I don't know if you can see that, but you've got that question mark icon. That brings you into your resources area, and there's a few different resources you have access to. The main one, and I think it's a pretty big deal, is our help center. It's called our university, called Rental Lease University, and we've got a few different things here. A help center is exactly what it sounds like. It's help. If you need step-by-step instructions on how to do something, if you want video tutorials about how to do something, you've got every single function we've got in here. You have step-by-step instructions how to do it with videos. What I think might be also interesting is the rental lease webinars, but the NAR rental expert series. So this is something that we're doing in unison with NAR, but we have a ton of webinars that we put on with industry veterans that are not about rental lease at all. It's just about rentals in general and sometimes in the market. Like we had Marky Lemon, so I'm sure you've heard of last week, or 3 weeks ago, did one about how do you leverage AI and actually leverage AI. Everybody talks about leveraging AI, but actually, she showed you different courses and tools to use when generating leads with rentals. That's a pretty cool thing. All free for you, all part of your ARMLS member benefit. So we've got a host of webinars that you can get access to. If there's stuff around fair housing or working with owners and investors, Monica Gilroy's been in a bunch. She's been really helpful there. So we have a lot of different ways you can get access. There's a lot of different support resources within Rental Lease University that you can access to. You can always email us, support@rentalbeast.com. That's another way to get access. My bet is go chat with us. They're quick to jump on some sort of phone call or Zoom. All right. In terms of adding a client, we're almost done. So if you did want to add a client, it's quick and easy. On the left side, it's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Is that better? That's better. Page is a little funky, but it looks better. On the left side, you can add in first name, last name, email of the client. So you're my test client. You're in here. And now I have my client. So you'll notice I've got my Miriam client. And from here, I can add in all their contact or pertinent rental related information. I think you've got this same exact tool in Flex MLS too, where you can add a client. Our softwares do not talk on the client side. So if you add a client in Rental Beast, it's not then going to be shown in Flex MLS, all right? So you have to decide necessarily which one you want to use. Totally dependent on how you want to work rentals. I think that's everything I got, folks. Do you want me to show you how to add a listing? Would that be helpful just to see? We'll do this quickly. It's really simple. You come into my listings, you click add a new rental listing, and you start filling out the information. That's all it takes. The one difference that you will have from Flex MLS, if you start typing in an address, oh, I forgot the address, east. See how it popped up for a second there? There you go. Come on. That will start, doesn't want to do it for me. There we go. Anyway, it goes away. But that is called address standardization. It's the same thing, like, if you're on Amazon.com or an e-commerce website where you start filling in information, and it'll say like, hey, is this the address you want to take? We use that technology. So I think that is different than Flex MLS. Sometimes your listing, if it's so new, if it's like a new property build and it's a rental, may not actually have an address yet, or it may not be part of the national databases. It doesn't matter, you can still move through, continue. Once you add your rental listing, you publish it, and there will be a red publish button. It takes about 2 seconds for that listing to be shown in Flex MLS. So very quick, we want to make it seamless for you. All right.
You're showing compensation.
We are showing compensation. That's going to be removed shortly. So yes. Yep. We are not able, we are a technology vendor. We are going to be removing compensation.
Okay.
So that is going to be gone. Yes. Do I have comments, questions, thoughts, anything about how do I use this? Why do I use this? Anything like that? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you guys coming in. Tomorrow you get access to the tool. So that should be a fun day.
Cool.
I also just want to make sure that everybody signed in on the front. We will be emailing you, which is our contact information in case you have any questions, if you need to get a hold of us. I'm here, BJ's here. We're really just here for any help that you guys can need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, happy hunting out there, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming in. So how's the for sale side right now? Is it okay on this area? I'm from Boston, by the way, so it's a very different area.
Yeah. It's not great, but
So I've been seeing there's more listings. Is that true? No?
compared to what,
That's fair.
I mean,
Compared to a few
compared
months
to-
ago, yeah.
So is inventory overall still pretty low?
It's stagnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're there.
Have you seen prices come down at all?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh,
Depending on the area. But
yeah. I mean, you can't get a house sold, people are lowering.
Really, just to get
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
But rock bottom yet? No.
No.
Thank you.